Yo, how's it going, everybody? It is me again, Gigas Thickas, and today I'm gonna cover something you guys wanted me to cover. I also posted a poll first to see the answer behind what you guys would like to see, and the choice is between using B+1+2 and fun ways to use it, or a practical ways to use it as well, or just random tech that I have collected in the years that I played Gigas. And Lord and behold, the winner on those two choices is the B+1+2. So today we're going to talk about B+1+2, what it does, as in the frame data, the functionality behind it, hit properties, stuff like that. You know, the pretty common knowledge behind B+1+2, but also the mind games behind B+1+2. You know, what you can do if you hit it on block, on hit, what the opponent's choices are, because B+1+2 limits the opponent's answers because it forces crouch. But we're gonna cover everything in this video. But before we're gonna start, I would like to show you guys a couple of clips I collected against a Valorant player. This was just in one random go. I just hopped online, I tried it, and let me say it is most definitely worth it to use B+1+2 and learn how to use that move. So here comes the clips. I hope you enjoy the clips, and after the clips we're gonna jump right into what B+1+2 does and how to implement it in your own playstyle. Have fun. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of the sneak peek on what B+1+2 can do mentally, physically, as in the mind games behind it. If they press, if they don't press, if you want to be safe after doing it on block, you can just back up and stuff like that. But you know, today we're going to talk about the beautiful headbutt, what we call B+1+2, because in season 4 it got a pretty significant buff. It got two buffs, and one is that if you hit it on block or on hit normally, you can actually cancel into the stance, which is pretty nice. It normally gives you +4 on block, which is also very manageable. Don't forget, guys, on normal block it's also very nice to frame trap with down 4-3 1+2 or down 4-4 1+2. Alright, so keep that in mind. But if you cancel into the stancel, listen to the stancel. If you cancel into the stance, you can go for +6 on block, which is also very nice. But here's a big con, in my opinion, on doing this. So this is already the first step, in my opinion, about B+1+2 if you enter the stance. You're pretty limited in answers here, because you only have access to your golem moves. And let's cover all of them, like the implemented golem moves, alright? Because it is pretty attractive to go for this into your golem 1, which launches. It's a true frame trap, so if they press a button here while sending 4, while sending 3 from Lee, which is minus, or is 10 frames startup, you will launch them. Alright, so that's a launch. It doesn't even matter what you do, it will launch. Alright, so frame trap wise, it's nice, right? But again, you're pretty limited if you enter the stance. Why? Because you can only do the golem moves. The other golem moves are your golem 2, which is 20 frames fast. Well, slow. But it's super safe at neutral at block, which is beautiful. But the thing is, this is not a frame trap, because it has 5 frames gaps. You know, you can see it, the starter frames is 20, you're +6. So you have a couple of frames that they can interrupt. If they do while standing 4, they can interrupt. If they do something that is a little bit slower, but like, you know, 13 frame, they can still interrupt. So if they do something slow out of while standing, sure, you can go for it, but yeah, it's kind of limited if you do it like that. And the last one, like physical move, because we also have the grab, which is most definitely a frame trap because it's 11 frames fast, you're +6, which is most definitely uninterruptible, but it's a high. So if they do a full crouch move, which will high crush, you will lose that moment. You know, you will lose that significant moment, which is kind of suck ass. You know, it's pretty cool to go for the grab, and it's a grab, you can still break it with 1+2, by the way. So you can go for it. You know, if you see that they won't break it, go for it. You know, it's nice damage. It carries them to the wall if you're at mid stage, which is also nice. But against potent players, they will start breaking this, or even read it and duck it and launch it maybe. So keep that in mind. The new iteration, the new move, which is this pretty funny low, is also 20 frames, so you cannot frame trap with this after doing back 1+2. It's also very unsafe, -16. It does not a lot on hit, neutral on hit, so here you go. It's neutral on hit, which is nice to command grab buffer. So let me show you what that means. The low, you can go for grab immediately if you buffer it in between the animation. And if you're curious how that looks in the command history, so let me do it one more time. You see, the moment you enter the animation of that low and it hits, you can already buffer the half circle. And if the animation from the low is done, the only thing you have to do is press 4-1+2 and it will give you the grab, which is pretty nice. Alright, but again, they can break it, they can maybe even read it and duck and launch. But again, not everybody breaks grabs, even in higher rank. So it's a thing to try. Not everybody breaks grabs all the time. But you know, still on the topic on that low, that is, I guess, your last implemented golem button you can use. And again, it's nice, but it's slow. You cannot frame trap with it. It does have a follow, which is -1, which is super safe, but it's a high. So if you see that they will try to launch your low, you can go for the follow up here. That will be nice. It also knocks down and counter hit screws if they try to interrupt it. So let me try show you what I mean. So if this hits, that's a screw launcher, which is nice. So again, on hard reads, if you just do the low first and they try to punish that low, you can surprise them with extension, giving you a counter hit screw, or just a knockdown and or wall splat against the wall. So that is the first I guess chapter on back 1+2, what it does. So let me summarize everything. The pros, it gives you very nice frame data, as in +4 if you don't enter, or +6 if you enter, which is very nice. Also, it's a mid, it's not a random high they can just crush. It also launches a counter hit, which is very nice. You know, that's the other buff they gave him. So this is a very big launch. Even if you don't cancel into the stance, you can confirm pretty easily. Like, this works, as you can see here. Very basic on, but it works. And the last pro, it also gives pretty good hit advantage on normal hit, as you can see, +5. So you can frame trap them with down for 4-1+2. You can frame trap them with down for 2. So it's a very nice, it's a slow but nice usable mid to give yourself frame advantage. The cons, however, is if you extend to the stance, your options are pretty limited, like I already mentioned before. It's also very linear. Some people just sidewalk it without even trying to. So don't do it all the times against like agile characters. Maybe Xiao Yu, Savina. It even happened against hard rank. So that doesn't really even show the point. It's really linear at moments. And again, you know, as the other con I mentioned before, if you enter the stance, you're putting yourself a little bit into a risk to go for like the launcher, which is -13. Some people get a knockdown, some people get a chunky like punishment, but it's not a very big risk in my opinion. And we're also gonna cover some fun things on this con to actually convert it to a pro, so keep that in mind. Alright, so now we covered back 1+2, what it does, and the answers behind using back 1+2, as in, you know, okay, if I do it like this, you can go for the build-in transitions, or you can go for not canceling the stance. You can also back up. I did not mention that, but you can also back up if you hit this on block, just to play it safe, to create space again. But now the big question behind this move is, when do you use this move? How do you use this move? So let me try to explain what I mean with that. Maybe you don't know, like, maybe you're like, what do you mean, how do you use it? You just press back 1+2. That's not how I mean, what I mean. It mostly boils down to the move is pretty slow, so you cannot randomly just run to someone and do this. You will get counter hitted or maybe even sidewalked. It's slow. You need to set up Gigas into a situation that allows for the back 1+2, so they have to respect it. If they don't, you might even counter hit launch them. If they do respect it, you will get free pressure. So my favorite ways to enter the situation, or plural situations, will be covered now. Okay, number one is pretty easy. It's a very standard one, but if you're plus on hit and or block, you can always go for this. So one of the examples is if you do a wall running 2, first of all, you always have to check what the opponent does on block, on hit. Well, on hit it's a knockdown, but if you do this on block, please check what the opponent does first. Don't immediately go for the back 1+2 here, because if they press the button, well, there goes your turn. If they maybe sidewalk because they're Lily and they're very agile, they're in the back, so you don't want that. You have to condition them first to be defensive. And yes, it's possible for Gigas to do that. So if I do like a wall running 2 and they don't respect it, thanks, I'm at +5 now. If they do that again, it launches. If they do it then, you have enough like frame traps with Gigas that knocks down, launches, or is very advantageous on hit, like down for 4+1+2. So you can even go for 4+1+2 if you want to be extra safe, but it is a high, so if they high crush, there goes your turn. So that is how you condition first, and if they play defensive, then is your time to implement back 1+2. So what does this allow, and what does this mean? So this forces the opponent into a situation to test their patience, and in ranks especially, patience is not a thing. But I the salt boiled up, I'm sorry. So what does this mean? Here you're at +6. You can back up into safety, to see what they will do. That is one of my favorite options. Don't always go for launch or a frame trap, because if you do this into back 1+2 and you back up, if they retaliate, for the next time, oh, okay, so the patience might run out again if I do this. And you're also at a very safe place to whiff punish them with 4-4-2. If I do this again, back up, they do like twin pistons because they try to launch or something, 4-4-2 will hit them, or down 2 would even hit them. So let me try and show you what I mean with creating space with punishment. I've showed it a couple of times in different tutorials or guides, but it's most definitely worth it to show and mention it again. I'll be right back. So something like that, it's pretty difficult to replicate this specific situation, but as you've seen there, if I back up and I can see and react that they will swing again to maybe try to interrupt my pressure, I'm at such a safe position to whiff punish with either 4-4-1+2 for a launch, 4-4-2 if they're against the wall for a knockdown, maybe even down 2 if they're close enough, or 1-2 if you want to play safe and punish with like your very strong knockdown 10 frame punish. So that's why that situation is what I call like the pressure mind game, and if you know what they will do, you can capitalize from it. But if you don't know what to do, if you want to analyze first, back hopping is a very safe answer to see and scout what the opponent does. So yeah, that rule applies on being plus on block or even plus on hit. So if I hit like a counter hit down for 4-1+2, I can go for back 1+2 to insert pressure again. So that will look like this. So I'll hit this first. Cool, let me go for another one, and now I'm still plus even after hitting something on hit. Most of the times people go for a frame trap, which most of the time means you will lose a turn. But if you scout that the opponent will not swing after getting hit like something like this, you're at +5, If they do, you have enough frame traps to use with Gigas. I already mentioned it before. Down for 3, 1+2 for launch. Another down for 4, 1+2. Trust me, this works. You can go for down for 2, 1. You can go save with just a mid poke to have another plus frame. +7, which is very nice. And if they don't press a button because you made them learn that they, don't press, then go for another one. Go for back 1+2 to get into this pressure moment again, to back up into safety. If they will lose their patience after getting hit so much and they're like, fuck this, I want to press a button, you can launch them. So that is kind of how you use back 1+2 after being plus on hit and or block. That doesn't matter. It's just a matter of time and I guess patience on our side to see what the opponent does first and capitalize on what he or she does. And trust me, that might be a bit difficult because some people will not they do not like to block, they do not like to play defensive. But Gigas can say, hey, if you don't want to, hey, okay, down for 3, 1+2, it will launch you. Down for 4, 1+2, cool, I'm at +5 again. But I can see why it's very difficult to use back 1+2 at this situation. But trust me, guys, it works. It can work. All right, and the next one is, it's a little bit risky, but it can work wonders if you do it right. So after a knockdown, the opponent has a lot of options to go into. So let me just put everything on none set. So this is because you're doing nothing if you hit a knockdown, right? So most of the times, apparently after playing a lot of ranked experience, they will stay on the ground to wake up again. So what that means is they will do like this. They will wait until you approach them, and then then they will do like a mid kick to stop your offense. Okay, it works, so they do it. Also, same rule applies for the mid. This is where you as a Gigas player need to scout that first. So knockdown, I went to pressure. Okay, if he's gonna wake up, the thing you can do with Gigas is just run up, backdash, hey, launch them back. So I'm gonna try one more time. Like that, right? Same goes for the low kick. If they do that with a low kick, cool, thanks, punish. Same goes for the spring kick. So you see the idea, right? So read first what they do. If they really like to wake up that much, then make them pay, but you have to be kind of like defensive on the offense, if that makes sense. Go for offense, play defensive and see what they will do. If they do something wrong, you can launch them back. And that even also worked for the front roll. I'm not sure if I can do that here. Yeah, I'm not sure how I do that in practice mode, but the wake up that they front roll into like the cross chop. If they do that, you can just down 3+4 it into down 2. It's one of my favorite answers against the front roll with Gigas. Matter of fact, it's such a good option. If I play someone else and I do not have it, I'm like, well, shit. I don't know what to do. But with Gigas, you can just absorb it, and down 2, you have a lot of time to down 2 after it. So, okay. Now we entered the realm into like the Oki situation after a knockdown. If they learn the lesson, if they don't, just keep continue and punish the wake ups they try to do against you. But if they learn, they might, most of the time they quick roll immediately. So against the wall, especially against the wall, if you're close against the wall, so run up and go for a back 2 for pressure immediately. This also works in the open, but again, I already mentioned before, it is risky because again, it's slow, and if they know you will do this, they can just counter hit you easily even. But if they don't and they're trying to be a bit more patient and defensive, go for run up back 1+2, right? You can do it. Sometimes it even beats a delayed kind of reaction, as in, oh, he's running towards me, I have to poke him back, and back 1+2 launches, counter hit launch them if they try to do it a bit too late. So that's a way to also do it. What else? I use back 1+2 as well after like hitting a poke. If I hit a jab, I can go for back 2 immediately. Even on block it sometimes works, but again, be patient and check what the opponent does first. If they do not respect it and they magic 4, you can go for a grab as an example. Or, if they're doing high, you can just duck it and do while standing 2-3. But after poking, I like to do that as well. So this looks weird, but down for 4 into back 1+2, you know, it's kind of similar to the string, but it isn't the string. Normally you're +1 or +3 if you cancel into the stance, but if you do it manually, you're +6 or 7 on hit, or +6 in the stance on block. So that's kind of also how I use it, like down forward 4 into a manual back 1+2, just like that. Because this poke is very safe, you can just see first what they do. If they do nothing, go for the manual back 1+2. That gives you +6 instead of +3, which I find better. You know, it's in my opinion better. If they try to interrupt you, you know, you can go for the normal string. If they do a 13 frame move, you will launch them on counter. If they do something in between 10 or 12, you unfortunately will lose because there is a gap between the strings. So keep that in mind as well. And okay, before we're gonna enter a new segment on this video, there is something I like to do. You saw it on the video, on the clips when I played against a Fakura. If you do the back 2s, if you hit back 2s, and trust me, there are ways to get into back 2 situations. I also covered them in my season 4 guide real quick, but if you hit this, you have 2 built-in options, as in you have the mid, you have the high, and yeah, you have upward 1+2, but we're not gonna talk about that one. So what I like to do sometimes, if I see that they are really fearing the follow-up, most of the time either they will duck or they will block. Don't be scared and go for a manual back 2. You can go for a manual back 2. You have to wait a little bit. There we go. Manual back 2. You're +6 again, and you create pressure. You know, you can backdash again or back up again to be safe. Or if they're running out of patience, you can launch them. So that's also one of the things I do with back 1+2. So I hit back 2 on block, and I go for back 1+2. They're kind of those kind of things. They only work if you see what opponent does first. Don't immediately throw it out. It's something I highly recommend doing after knowing what they will do first. Don't randomly throw this out. So it's all about downloading, execute. Don't randomly execute it and complain that they won't respect you. They have no reason to respect you if you don't make them respect you. And Gigas can do it, but it might be a bit difficult. Please keep that in mind, guys. Please. I'm also guilty as in sometimes I'm trying my fun things, but the opponent is like, I'm not gonna respect you, and I'm like, bro, fucking respect respect me, please. But he has no reason. So then I have to shift my gear and say, okay, he's not respecting, eat this mix-up, or he's not respecting, eat this frame trap. Because most of the times it's a frame trap that works. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna talk about something I find very fun to do with back 1+2, and I sometimes did it even in season 2 and 3. But now, you know, because people know he has a new low. That low looks so funny. Here's something I want to share with you guys, and you have also seen it on the clips against a Fakura. So if you're not familiar with the term crouch canceling, do not forget you can crouch cancel back 1+2. What does this allow? So first of all, you can do multiple back 1+2s like this, and all these back 1+2s were in the stance. You can see it very fast. You see how it says +6 all the time? There you go. You see, +6, +6, +6. Normally you can just match it like this, but you're +4 and you're not in the stance. But now, if you crouch cancel this fast enough, you see, you're always +6. So this is cool because you can chain pressure. If they respect your pressure, you can go for random grab in between. So let me show you what I mean. Oh, random grab. You see, they might break it, but hey, you at least get like a free grab attempt. You can also back up into safety if they run out of patience to see what they will do. Or if you just straight up know at the third time, you know, third time's the charm, they're not respecting this pressure anymore, you can go for the fat ass launcher right over there. But this is where the fun starts. I'm crouch canceling into another back 2, right? That is a back 1+2, excuse me. That is what I'm showing right now. But that also means that you can crouch cancel into a real low. Wow, it's plus. Imagine, right? Okay. Before I will start this topic, Yes, it has like a very big gap because you're crouch canceling it, right? As you can see, I'm crouch canceling into the down back 2. It does have a gap, but again, you have tools to make people respect the stance. Again, I mentioned it before. This is a thing you have to download first. If they're being defensive, you can go for this to open them up a little bit, to chip them, right? But the fun doesn't stop here. You can also go for a crouch cancel back 2 into another back 1+2 into a back 2. So that allows a very big, a random realm of, oh wait, I can crouch cancel into additional pressure instead of relying only on the Golem built-in mechanics for Gigas. You know, the answer he got, like the Golem 1-2, 4-1, and the grab. If you are good at crouch canceling, and trust me, it's not difficult to do. It's not, in my opinion, not very difficult to do. You have an additional layer now. You see? I did it against the Fulcrum, you've seen it. It works against a lot of players if I make them defensive first. And if they're not being defensive, hey, back up into a punish. If they're not being defensive, fat launcher. So that is one, trust me guys, this is one of my favorite things to do. It can be very silly, the amount of pressure you can chain back to back with back 1+2 if you do it right. But again, it's pretty difficult to do it right. So I wouldn't be, you know, I can understand why some of you are like, well, good luck doing it. Thanks, I already did it, but I can see why it can be very difficult to implement this in your game plan. But this is just play a lot. I know it sounds terrible to to grind online, but you will get the feel of, oh, so he's playing like this, now I can do this. Or he's not playing like I would like he's playing, so I'm gonna frame trap or back hop. Keep in mind guys, you can also do down 3 for a different low. This you do not have to crouch cancel, you can literally mash it. Okay, and the last thing I like to do as well with Gigas, and for me it's super fun to do as well, and it might be very specific, but if you are against the wall with Gigas, so we all know the beautiful back 2, right? It says +15. If I do not walk forward, it's just +15. If I walk forward, it's +20, but you have 2 options to choose from. It's not that you can go for like something else because you enter the Goliath stance. But this on its own is +15. Okay, so let's see how fast back 1+2 is. It's 25 frames. So if you take 15 frames out of 25, you're pretty fast, right? This means doing back 2 into back 1+2 is uninterruptible. It's uninterruptible. If you try to poke in between this, it will actually launch. Same goes for forward 4. So if you like forward 4 a little bit more, go for forward 4. Matter of fact, forward 4 is even way more plus on block, as you can see, 26. So this is most definitely even better as a frame trap. But back 2 is a little bit faster. You see, 41, and this is 43. It's 2 frames difference. But I like how, I do love how back 2 looks like. So I'm biased. I'm biased. You know I'm biased. But so let me show you what I mean with this is a true frame trap. I'm gonna record Gigas doing it, and me being Kazuya, I'm gonna press 1, and let's see what will happen there. All right. So now I play Kazuya on the right side, and Gigas is the AI doing back 2 into back 1+2. I also turn on the input so you can see what I'm mashing. So I'm gonna mash 1 as hard as I can, and let's see if we can interrupt it. You can't. You can't. It's a legit frame trap. So that is one of the last things I can say about back 1+2. In this situation, if you hit forward or back 2, you can actually use the 2 as a frame trap to launch them high. And or if they're respected, you know you have a pretty good wall game here. You can go to back 1+2. So let's do it one more time. And let's stop him here. So if he does a back 1+2, you can enter the stance for a grab, and the opponent's back is against the wall, so that's big damage. If they press something a little bit on the slower side, you can go for the Golem 2, the wall bounce. Or again, you can just back hop into safety, and if they do something and they fucked up, you can like wall splat them with 4-4-2, 1-2, and go for wall setups or wall damage or wall combo. You can go from there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it on Back1+2. Again, I did not really have a lot of time, you know, real life stuff, real life shenanigans happened, and I did not really have time to actually really play Tekken frantically, to be very honest. And again, on this topic, I enjoy different things now as well, as in different games like Fighter Z. You can see the switches over here. You know, I play a lot of Pokemon lately, and I'm trying to enjoy life while I still can, you know, from my job. You know, job is very heavy, and you know, if I go home, I'm tired, and I never think about, hey, let me crack some Tekken. You know, Tekken. I need a free day to really like put my spirit in there and play Tekken. You know, normally, yeah, when I was, you know, when it was new Tekken, even when I had a job, I was like, yo, let me crack some Tekken. But now I don't really feel like it. But I really hope I can help, or I helped you a little bit with Back1+2 usage. And I've seen that people want to see the random tech as well. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to try my best to compile all the tech I made on my channel and compile it in one big ass video with the new kind of layout I have with the microphone, because that was way back and I didn't have a microphone. I did not have a camera, bro. Still shout outs to you guys for the camera. That shit is so nice. And let me know in the comment section if you would like that or something else. All right, it's very important to communicate with you guys, or girls of course, if you want to see the random tech video compilation with the newest kind of layout, so you guys are a little bit up to date, or something else. Just let me know. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for this, for taking a look on this video. I hope it helped a little bit with the Back1+2. It is a cool buff, but it's kind of like a buff you have to focus on, and if you try too hard focusing on it, you will throw yourself into death. You know, trying to launch everybody with Back1+2 into the launch, -13, there goes your turn. So I hope this kind of let you guys know how you can also use it, or situations how to use it. And yeah, that's it for me today. I hope everything is going well with y'all. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.